Alright, Frontal Blessings, we are back with another video. Alright, before we begin, a couple quick announcements. Again, as we draw closer and closer to the 7th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. That will be taking place October 31st to November 3rd. Right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 4-day event, as I said. We're going to have an opening ritual Thursday night on Halloween night at the graveside, followed by a meet and greet, coffee and donut meet and greet afterwards at Dandy Donuts, baby. Dandy Donuts. Some awesome donuts for those that are coming. Be a nice little treat afterwards. That'll open the conference on Thursday night, the meet and greet opening ritual. Friday and Saturday classes from 9 to 4 p.m., 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Both nights, Friday and Saturday night, we have a group ritual prepared for both nights, followed by a group dinner. Sunday we close it out with a question and answer that I'll be doing, question and answer class from noon to 4 p.m. And that closes out the conference of the 4-day event. You can attend live, come here and live in person, Fort Lauderdale, or you can attend virtually. Either way, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com, and specify an email if you want to attend live or virtually. All right, you can sign up and register for that now. And after you sign up, and I confirm that you paid, you'll get a digital itinerary the week of the conference, usually a couple of days before. You'll know, when it starts, everything. You'll have a full schedule and itinerary. This way you know what the plans are for the 4 days. Also, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different types of readings: Klopathic demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings, which is always a great reading to do, to see what's going on up in here, right? To see what's really going on around you. Deity readings, to see what gods, goddess, demons, and spirits walk with you. Or maybe you're just interested in a spiritual consultation. Shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Specify, please put in the email your full weekly availability and the time zone you're in, and we will find a day and time that works for you and that works for me. All right, don't forget to check out also if you want to sign up for classes, the different type of classes I offer. The way to do that is go to the Patreon page, Primordial Chaos Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3, that gives you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, including a group ritual at the end of the month that we do together as a Primordial Chaos family. Keep in mind when you join, it doesn't just give you access from the day you join moving forward. It gives you access to everything in the archives going 5 years back now. And that includes all the group work and ritual work that we do in there for the classes. Believe me, it's enough of content to keep you busy for a very, very long time. If you want to see all the ongoing classes, just go on to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti. Click the collections menu when you see it, and you will see all the classes archived, categorized, and in numerical order, and that'll give you a clear description of all the ongoing classes with new classes being added frequently. All right, that's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Also, don't forget to check out all the social media pages, Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook, primordialchaos3.com on TikTok. And that's the best way to stay up on all the latest happenings of what's going on here at Primordial Chaos. All right, also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to the podcast, my contact email address, the social media pages, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All of that information is in the description box of this video that you are watching right now. All right. Other than that, so let's get into it. All right. Let's talk about All Hallows Eve or Halloween, right? Where does this tradition come from? Let's dispel quickly in this short tutorial the myths, this, that, and the third, because there's a lot of bullshit out there based on this holiday. Like most holidays here in the West, and let me just clarify and be clear, whether we're talking Christmas, Valentine's Day, Halloween, etc., a lot of them come from a lot of occult or pagan traditions. Now, let me clarify. People have it fucking twisted When they hear the word pagan, please do your research, people, or they say the word paganism, they think that is a religious term referring to somebody who is connected to these, what they would consider false doctrines or religions that opposes mostly their monotheistic faith principles. The word pagan, people, just means foreigner. It was a term given to people, pagan or pagan. It just was a title given to people who were foreigners to a land. But somehow that's got attributed to spirituality. It has, technically the word has nothing to do with spirituality. So anybody who came amongst a group of people that were outside that people's place of origin, culture, or religion, they referred to them as pagan, foreigners. All right? So there's a lot of stuff out there on Halloween. Religious folks will tell you it's such a wicked, evil holiday. It's satanic. It deals with the devil, this, that, and the third. That is not completely true, because those that don't understand the origin of this festival, or the festival of Samhain, or the festival of Halloween, that comes from occult origins, tapping into archetypes and rituals that deal with, obviously, one, the equinoxes and the times of change, dealing with archetype and deities, or the forms of the adversarial current that bring about that change, where some people get it twisted because over the years they've heard stories or they've grafted information that comes through European or Eurocentric Satanism, as if that's the only thing that the occult and the left-hand path is about. And I want to make it clear, I don't teach from that perspective, because that has been taken out of context by people that don't understand it, because these are the same individuals that will, make statements in along the line that, everything that's affiliated with this, that, or the third is satanic and evil, because of their misunderstanding of it, right? A lot of these holidays / festivals / seasonal events that take place during the equinoxes had more of a spiritual connotation or significance. Now, I'm not saying groups and organizations later on have not taken this and altered it and maybe have put it in a negative light, just like they've done with anything else. That could be Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. For an example, you have people who have come into Islam and become fanatics, and have taken Islam and become very radical. You have Christianity has done the same thing. You have very Christian extremists who go to the extreme. So it's just like any doctrine, dogma, or system can be taken, sensationalized, or radicalized. But if you understand the spiritual essence of the equinoxes, if you understand the time of season, if you understand transformation and change and how that relates to the individual or the practitioner, if you understand the spiritual science of magic and the occult, it takes on a more higher spiritual significance. So for us on the occult or the left-hand path, how I teach it for those that have been working with me, taking my classes, or on my platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or on my Patreon page as Patreon members, right? I teach this is the gateway or the doorway or the opening, what we call either the festival of Samhain, All Hallows Eve, or Halloween. And it's crazy because the Catholic Church, I told you, they venerate and acknowledge the dead from the period on November 1st at midnight, from going in from All Hallows Eve, as they call it in the old Latin, into what they call the first day of November, All Saints Day. They acknowledge all those saints that have transitioned on and are now, quote unquote, in the spiritual world, who have contributed some level of spirituality or some level of greatness to the Catholic Church and the Catholic doctrine, either by way of miracles or other some form of great works. So it's called All Souls Day, right? Right? You have All Saints Day and All Souls Day on November 2nd. So the 31st, 1st, and 2nd in the Catholic Church, it's a high time of the year on their liturgical calendar where they're venerating the dead. And they do it regularly throughout the year, because in the Catholic Mass, there's a portion where they always pray for the deceased. Okay? So there's more of a spiritual significance to this than meets the eye. Now you can interpret that how you want. Yes, a radicalized Christian, Muslim, or Jew is gonna interpret that as, oh, that's evil and that's satanic and that's bad. There's nothing evil about honoring and venerating the spirits of the dead. It's a matter of your interpretation on it. Again, any system can be taken and corrupted by an individual or select individuals. So I'm being clear on how I teach what All Hallows Eve, aka Halloween, aka the Feast of Samhain, really is about. So it's a high time for us as we enter the season of darkness and stasis, which is a great thing to us. I teach those that work with me, those who are students in our classes, that is a very powerful spiritual time of the year for as we go through the fall, what they call the fall solstice, to prepare us to go really internally deep in the winter solstice of stasis and darkness, to really take a look at ourselves, to really do that intense, dark internal work we need to do to ourselves to master and perfect ourselves, so we can emerge in the spring as self-perfected beings, right? The cycles are important, not just understanding how they work externally through the seasons of change, but how those seasons of change work within you internally, right? So the way that I try to show people how to do this, when in relationship to cycles and seasons in connection to yourself, is how you prepare yourself and how you work with those energies, because they affect you, whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. If you look throughout the year, do not tell me the weather and the cycles do not affect you, because it makes you feel a certain way. It makes you think a certain way. Certain thoughts and emotions are activated, good and bad, by certain times of the season, right? And there is some astrological aspect to it. Your astrological and your birth sign could have some connection to do with that. And as I said with astrology, right? It's a helpful tool when you use it as a science to master and better yourself. I have no problem with that. I have a problem when people use it religiously, as if they can't make any decision in life and it has to just be based on some form of astrology. That's religion. I don't teach anybody to look at astrology in that light, okay? Or that form of intellect or knowledge. That's the wrong way. All right? So this is a heightened time of the year for us, for those that work the occult in the left-hand path, right? It's my favorite time of the year because the best way I can describe it, and it's hard for me to put in words, and it's crazy because I'm a Gemini, so you would think summer seasons would be, my time of the year. My mother is Leo. She's born in July. My father, a winter sign. He's born in January. So you would think that I would inherit more of the liking to the summer seasons and the summer solstice. I actually don't. It's very draining to me. There's a lot of stuff going on energy-wise in the summer solstice. It's a powerful time because there's a lot of energy out there, but you've got to really be able to decipher out and filter, because a lot of it can be very adverse to your frequency and your vibration. Okay, a lot of it. But I love this time of the year because it captures a certain energy that is hard for me to put in words. It's where I get my most inspiration, growth, motivation. It's crazy. There's so much things being psychically awakened in me from October as we get through January. It's hard for me to put in words. But really, for us as a whole, as occult practitioners, it's a very powerful time of the year, right? And as I said, it's important to understand with astrology, which most people don't, to be honest with you, they don't. People think they focus so much in studying themselves in relationship to astrology just based on their birth astrological. You also have to look into your mother and your father's, if you know it, because that's really the triad of who you are astrologically. Because you're a third of your mother's sign, a third of your father's sign, and a third of your sign. And if you look closely, you will see you have attributes and aspects and connections with their astrologicals. Okay? Something not really mentioned or talked about enough. And this sometimes is explanation, understanding yourself, that people tend not to look in my opinion, deep enough. I'm sorry, excuse me. I was up late last night, boy. I was at a 50th birthday party celebration. It's crazy. So I'm recovering. But anyway, so this is more so what I wanted to kind of get across in this short tutorial was to get that understanding. There's so much bullshit out there when it comes to the occult and the left-hand path and spookism. And we were always taught, I remember growing up, it's crazy because I remember growing up, we acknowledged all of those quote-unquote pagan holidays. It's funny because, like I said, as a young child, young adult, young adolescent going into a young teenage up until about 13, it's probably when I started to really wake up and see shit differently. But being raised as Catholics, we acknowledged all those quote-unquote so-called pagan holidays. Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And one thing I will say, regardless, I mean, yes, there's a lot wrong with the Catholic Church. There's a lot wrong with the priesthood, no doubt. But I will tell you, as I look back and reflect on it now, it was very ritualistic. And there was a lot of things occultic there that I never really paid attention. Even Advent, what they call Advent season, the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, they've incorporated a lot of what they call pagan occult practices with Christianity, which from an occult perspective, I don't have a problem with. A religious person obviously is. But it was never that stigmata growing up as kids like it was a bad thing to celebrate Halloween. We did it, right? Now, a lot of these traditions that come later in the West, it comes from a lot of these fall festivals, pumpkins and, you know, all the other trimmings that come along with Halloween, carving jack-o'-lanterns, and then a lot of these self-created things that we started trick-or-treating, the candy. These come from old pagan practices that were done, you know, whether it was with offerings or some other method of showing a connection with that particular time of season or festival or cycle or change. So a lot of them come. And then obviously we here in the West added our little flavor to it, and then we have a mixture of modern day, old occult practices, etc., mixed in. So you're dealing with a bag of a bunch of different stuff. So when you get somebody who's got just a straight one-sided opinion about this and don't really understand it, there's a little confusion. Okay, little confusion. It is a powerful time of the year to connect with the mask of the adversary, whether you refer to him as Samhain, Lucifer, etc. Because the mask of the adversarial and the adversarial current brings about tremendous change and growth. So in essence, what I'm trying to say, this time of the year, and with the festival or the Feast of Samhain kicking it off, aka Halloween, aka All Hallows Eve, right? Has a lot to do with that. That's my whole point. Because people misunderstand it, they misinterpret it, they're not really clear on what it is, and most of the people that do that, just got to be honest, are religious folks. So it's normal to have an opinion about that coming from a very quote-unquote religious perspective. Okay, anyway, that's neither here nor there, right? You take it for what it is, and then you utilize how you see fit. But I just wanted to kind of do this short tutorial to take the spookism out of it, because like many other things out there, this too has been watered down, diluted, and indoctrinated, and the whole nine. Okay, so let's get ready. That season of great change in 2024 is now upon us. We are entering the early stages or portals of it. Let's reflect, right? Because as we start getting into next month, like I do this time of year, I'll be talking about now's the time to focus and reflect on. And remember, what our Urzili Dantor work in this month is about reflection and transformation, right? Reflect on, as we're getting to that point in the year now, it's time to reflect on what do we achieve and what do we what did we fail at? And what's the plan moving forward? We'll talk more about this over the next 2 months or so. This is where we're at, right? Remember, we deal with cyclical or cycle time. Now I hope you're getting a clearer picture, not linear time. Because linear time is illusion, all right? Other than that, that's what I got for you. Again, if you need to reach out to me for a spiritual reading or a consultation, or you're interested in signing up for classes, or you want to check out the social media pages or the Primordial Chaos podcast, all those links, including my contact email address, etc., are in the description box of this video that you are watching right now. And that's the way you're able to get at me and be able to contact me for any of those aforementioned. Other than that, that's going to wrap it up for this short tutorial. I just wanted to talk about that. Let's get ready. Let's get prepared as we wind down the year. Let's finish the year with a bang. Let's bring it home strong. Let's focus on our goals. Let's focus on being successful and being the most powerful, successful beings we can be on this planet. Right? That's the goal. That's why we're on this path. Have that mindset, and I guarantee you'll be successful. All right? Eternal blessings, and we'll talk soon.